All right, welcome. Class, this is the class of internet working. So now I want to show you the lab activity. So 1 second. Oh, all right. So this is our lab activity. Yeah. All right. So troubleshoot and fixing multi-area OSPF version 2. Yeah. All right. So this is a title. So our objective, identify, and then we resolve whatever issue of OSPF. Okay, the one that you have, that packet tracer, it doesn't work means OSPF is totally down because of 3 issues. Okay, that issue you can see, scroll down, you can see that issue. So I will explain now, line by line, I will explain that. Okay, so and then you need to resolve and then the OSPF and also OSPF adjacency and also the routing issues. Yeah. And then in order to resolve that, okay, as we learn in the lecture and also the content of others as well, so they are using verification command. Yeah, command to check or validate whatsoever, or SPF verification, like show IP or SPF neighbor, for example. Okay, so that's a verification command or diagnose command. Yeah, and finally, document troubleshooting step with justification. So I will guide all this. So in the letter, you can see they will explain that. Okay. So this is existing topology that we use. Okay, for the yesterday. So I'm using the same topology. Right. So this is the topology that we use, and the scenario now. Okay, troubleshoot the scenario. The first scenario is R2, R3 failed to form adjacency. I mentioned here the scenario. So it doesn't work. Okay. So now your job is to identify what is technically the problem. What are the statement that make this symptom or scenario, I mean, appear like this. Okay. R2, R3 fail to form adjacency. Okay, terus look up this. You can use any tools. You can discuss, find, use whatever to look for the problem, and then identify that first. You have to state what's the actually technically problem. I need to know that. Yeah, and then correct the configurations. Once you identify, you know what is the problem. Okay, technically maybe missing, maybe yeah, we add some coding, what I don't know. Okay, we change this and that, but you need to identify and then correct that. Finally, you have to verify. Okay, there's one scenario because this is happening the whole router, but maybe this router one, this one is a router. Check that, yeah, that IP, which router it is stated. So depend on the topology, you can check. Okay, second scenario, other router cannot see this loop back, yeah, loop back in routing table. Okay, so identify the problem, technical problem, what the issue, maybe like missing this and that, and then correct it. Okay, and then verify. To correct it later, I will explain. Yeah, and then third scenario, R2 and R1 and R2 lost adjacency. Okay, and then your task is to identify the problem, same thing, correct the configuration and verify. Assessment and deliverable. Yeah. Okay, student submission, recent, you need to do correction on that packet tracer. Okay, so mean you have to submit recent corrected packet tracer file, including name and also because once you enter that, you need to put your name and also the email. Okay, that's compulsory. Okay, And then the recent corrected packet tracer you have to send together. Yeah. All right. So including all the setting, everything. So now you need to create a report. Simple report, troubleshooting report. Like maybe the title. Okay, with the following content. Okay, identify the problem just now. I mentioned that scenario one. Technically problem, what happened to that? Okay, maybe missing or reconfigure or we add some extra, I don't know. Yeah. And then determine what tools are that we use to solve. Okay, tools mean diagnosis command, like as I told you just now, like shows IP neighbor, for example. Okay, and then the corrected or correct the configuration means, so the one I can see the correct the configuration, correct the configuration. Yeah, yesterday we configure, now we do correction on that based on the scenario. Yeah, and then verify it. Correct. Okay, verify it, whatever. Okay. So this is the content of your report. Very simple. So okay, yeah. So these three issue. Okay, three issue. Okay, or three problem here in your current PKA file. Okay, you need to open that. Okay. Let me. All right. Once you open the packet tracer, they ask you to put your name here. Yeah, and then email. Put your email. Okay, real name. Yeah. All right. Okay. Then if you click check result, so there is nothing here. So I'm not setting on here. Okay. So you cannot see at all everything. No, I mean, it's not counted. That's why last time that we did. Okay, there's is a uncount. Yeah, some because this we're not using that actually. Okay, but in here the coding is a. So these four routers, based on that existing, you have to configure, check everything, the setting here. Okay, and then finally, okay, the issue is when you think from here to here, because I've forgotten so to put in the connectivity test in here. Okay, so I got missed that little bit. Otherwise, I will put in the packet so you can see the assessment. Okay, like this one, yeah. If you check the result, yeah, check the result. In assessment, there is a connectivity test. Okay, it's supposed to be there. So I forgot. This one, yeah, connectivity. This one, just item. Okay, connectivity test will check. I mean, all the once we have done that, we can ping from I call this from R1 to R4 and R4 to R1 can ping means that you succeed. Okay, so with that scenario, actually interrupt the process of the OSPF function. So it doesn't work because of that. Okay, your task now to troubleshoot the issue. This one later in future, we can try this in our machine because there is a little bit constraint because if we're using a packet tracer, there's some command we cannot use, some troubleshoot command we cannot use 100%. Okay, because packet tracer is about 99%. Okay, almost similar. Okay, they guarantee packet tracer. Okay, but from the experience, some of the very like extra command to diagnosis command, some we cannot use in packet tracer. But what happened also, we try to do our best to try to deliver without we are using the real device. So my target maybe next we try to use a different same technology maybe. Okay, because we got one island, I think we got a couple of routers we try to implement in that for the real device. That one later on. Okay, so now please, yeah. So this is our lab activity for today. So try to complete that, yeah.